What's up YouTube, Slim here, Team Symmetry, here with my next installment of Slim Psychology, Slimcology, whatever you want to call it. This one is going to be on how to utilize back row removal, essentially your 3 MSTs and your 1 heavy storm. This video request was sent to me about 3 or 4 times, which I thought was really interesting by some of my subscribers, saying we want to know your take on how to properly use Mystical Space Typhoon, and they even said to talk about doing the Pro Storm. I'm not going to do Pro Storm in this video. If I get enough likes or enough feedback or inbox messages about doing it, I will do a video on it. However, I'll be straight up, I'm not one to really Pro Storm a lot, but I do have teammates and I do have other players that I know that can give me insight onto, I guess, their thought process when Pro Storming. So we're not going to do Pro Storm today, but we're going to talk about how to utilize these cards. It's been a while since we had a format where 3 MST was around. You know, it's great to have this much back row removal, especially with how a lot of players love to set everything and, you know, pretty much like set 5, summon Thunder King, go ahead. And, you know, that's a really hard situation to get out of, and having 3 MST is great. But people always mistake having 3 MST as one of the greatest things in the world because they will blind MST, they will hit another MST, and they basically just wasted that MST. Now, people ask me, how do I use Mystical Space Typhoon? So the way I use MST is, you know, if I open with 1, usually I'll open with 1, or I'll draw into it in the next couple of turns. I'm not so fast to MST something. If my opponent has, like, say, 3 set back row, you more likely would want to have your Heavy Storm. But another thing is that, this is very basic, when your opponent has set 3, unless they're really gutsy or they're a bad player, I guess the only thing I could say is they would not set that many back row without protection. And you can blind MST, okay, you may hit something, but you still have 2 more to deal with. And if you Heavy Storm, you can always fall victim to the notorious, you know, Starlight Road. Your opponent will flip the Starlight Road, your Storm is gone, and they'll drop Stardust. So not only do you still have back row to deal with, you have a Stardust to deal with. Now that's not really the easiest thing in the world to do. It can be done, of course, but not really something you want to walk into. Also, players will set 3 or 4 back row. You should know that when they set this many, they probably have a Judgment, a Dark Bribe, or something that can protect their back row if need be. However, some players, I guess, rely on probability in the sense that you have a 1 in 41 chance of drawing, 41 chances of drawing the 1 Heavy Storm in your deck, and they're feeling pretty safe that you didn't open with it. Let me tell you guys straight up, I used to be like that, and I used to get stormed all the time. Players will open with Storm. It's a known thing. They'll open with Storm, they'll top deck Storm, and a Heavy Storm is just brutal on that many back row. If they're these back row and you have no protection, and you've just lost these 3 essential traps because you didn't set protection, it's bad. And you've just lost 3 really great cards that you could have used to take control of the game. That's another thing where MST comes in. People will, you know, blind MST. They will MST, you know, 1, 2, 3. If they open with 2, they'll MST 2 of your back row. Okay, you've done a 1-for-1 exchange. Make sure you have a follow-up play. The way I like to use MST also is I like to draw it. You know, if I'm going first, of course, you know, I'll set it. You know, I'll start, you know, whatever deck I'm running, I'll have my basic combos. And then at the end phase of my opponent's turn, I'll MST 1 of their back row. If they set 3 or 4, I'm a little less likely to do that because I can only knock out 1, and unless I have a Heavy Storm or something that can take care of the other back row, I'm not in a real winning position. And I feel that if I can get my opponent to MST this, and I can chain my MST hitting 1 of their back rows, it's great because you've just 2-for-1. They've just 2-for-1 them, and it's great. It's something that I feel a lot of players should utilize when playing these cards. You know, MST's been around for a while, and you know, you just don't want to misplay with it. And like back on the Heavy Storm, there are times, you know, depending on what deck you run, that it's okay to Heavy Storm. And those situations can be, I guess we'll have to use the obligatory, you know, rabbit situation where, you know, you have your Lagia, and I guess, like, I've had situations where actually I'll be playing in the mirror match, I'll be playing against a Lagia, and they will, you know, they'll have a lot of back row. I've actually had this happen a couple times. This is interesting, where they do have like 3 or 4 back row with the Lagia. And I've had people misplay where they'll flip the Starlight Road, and I'll have Solemn Warning as a response. Since you Solemn Warning the Starlight Road, everything goes. It's rare that happens, but when it does, you've just taken away 4 of your opponent's cards, and it's like a major minus in their situation. Because then Lagia can't really do anything, and you know, it's great. I guess another thing to cover is that one of the situations I've always come across with Dark World. Now, I know that people love when I talk about Dark World. People love Dark World, you know, as opposed to Rabbit, of course. You know, I don't blame you. Grapha is a beast. Day Starlight Road, Stardust comes out. It does not matter. Ba-boom, 200 more. So you can have a Grapha on board. If you can securely get your Grapha on the board, you know, you Heavy Storm, they Starlight Road, okay. Your Storm's gone. Stardust comes out. You can still run it over. It's one of those situations that using Storm or MST, depending on, you know, if you main MST in Dark World, a lot of people don't. They usually main the Storm. If you're trying to push for game, you know, they bring out the Stardust. Okay, it's kind of standing in your way, but you can attack into it and get over the Stardust. That was something I always noticed when playing either Malefic or Dark World, is that the Starlight Road really didn't matter. It did negate your Storm, which did suck, but in Grapha you do have MSTs. Grapha is an MST. When discarded, you can hit a back row, which is usually what people do. And it's really not that big a deal. It's just, I guess, player preference and how you really want to go about pushing for game that turn, if that's, you know, your goal. Other plays I've seen with you know, MSTs is where you'll have your opponent will have, I guess, one set back row. Let's just say one set back row, and you'll have, you know, I'll have a set MST, and they'll summon a monster. They'll attack. You activate MST on that back row. If this was your only back row, hit their card and then drop Gores. I've had that happen to me many times, and I've actually just started to really do it as a play. And you know, it's a little awkward play, but if it's to get your Gores out because you need to have no back row, it's a great way to take advantage of the board at that time. And it's just a really solid play. I guess like the main point of this video is just don't, I guess, blind MST, don't waste your MSTs, because, you know, you only have 3 of them. There really is no way to get back this card or Heavy Storm unless you're running, I don't know what it's called, Spell Reproduction, Magical Stone Excavation. A lot of decks are not running those cards because you already minus in using the card. And if it's only a 1-for-1 exchange, that's all you really want it to be. So utilizing MST, since you have 3 of them, is key. And I guess like the other things on Heavy Storm is that, aside from Starlight Road, the only other thing that people really use to negate that card would be, you know, Solemn Judgment or the Huge Revolution is over. I haven't seen people main decking that card yet. They may start, it depends. But you do only have 1 Heavy Storm. For a lot of decks, a lot of players, even myself, sometimes it becomes a 4th MST. Sometimes you only do it on 1. And it just depends on the situation. But that's pretty much it, you guys. Let me know what you guys think of this video. I only made this video because it was requested to me by my subscribers, and I'm also going to be doing ones on Machina, on Malefic, on Windup and Inzektor. I personally am not really familiar with Windup and Inzektor, as I haven't played them. I have played against them. I may have a teammate come in to do the video with me. Or I will, you know, brush up on both of the decks. Let me know what you guys think of this video. You know, thumbs up this video. You know, please comment below. Please tell me how I could have made this better. Anything you'd like to see in the future, and just let me know. And just use these cards to the best of your ability, and they will win you games. That's the thing about these cards. They win you games, and how you use them is key to winning the game. So let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys liked the video. Thank you for watching.